The European Parliament's outspoken chief negotiator for Brexit faced a brutal grilling by MEP Bill Etheridge for continually rejecting calls by Prime Minister Theresa May to make changes to the controversial Irish backstop agreement. Speaking in the European Parliament on Thursday, the British MEP said, "I accept in this room I am probably a minority of one where I would like to see a WTO rules Brexit. But if that wasn't to be the case, and if it is as catastrophic as we are being told here today, I, with respect, suggest that the EU negotiators maybe need to give a little bit more help to Mrs. May and her team, because they are after all a team made up of people who support the EU, who campaign to remain, and who are trying to get the softest possible Brexit. Far softer than most people in the UK would have expected in these negotiations. Maybe you need to back the horse that is more or less on your side. Bill Etheridge, sir, I think, if it is such a catastrophe, maybe you need to back the horse that is more or less on your side," he added. "It is for the good of all concerned that we get some certainty in our relationship between the UK and our closest friends and allies, and we must get this done, and we must get it done quickly." Mr. Verhofstadt, the leader of Liberals inside the European Parliament, replied, "Everybody wants to help everybody, but helping doesn't mean that we will give up the principles, anti-values of the European Union in our system. That is the red line for us. We have only one red line, not as many red lines as the other side. You only have one red line, and that is we will not undo for the sake of Brexit the union system, the single market, the four freedoms, and the whole way of working that is linked to the Union and the European Union." Brexit news. Bill Etheridge said he would like a WTO Brexit image. European Parliament. When we talk about the backstop is necessarily to avoid a border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic, and it is also necessarily to safeguard the coherence of the single market. That we will not undo. So that has been from day one our position, and that will not change. The comments come as Attorney General and Brexit Secretary Stephen Barclay held last ditch with Michel Barnier, the EU's chief negotiator, on Tuesday night in an 11th-hour bid to save the Prime Minister's deals. But talks were left deadlocked after EU negotiators rejected Mr. Cox's very reasonable proposals. Diplomatic notes obtained by express.co.uk outlined the concerns of EU 27 ambassadors after the turbulent meeting between Mr. Cox, Mr. Barclay and Mr. Barnier on Tuesday. Senior diplomats fear it doesn't look like they will be able to bridge the gap soon. But answering MEP's questions in the Commons on Thursday, Mr. Cox rejected suggestions the government had failed to come forward with clear proposals to resolve the deadlock over the backstop. Mr. Cox boomed, "We're discussing detailed, coherent, careful proposals. We're discussing the text with the EU. I'm surprised to hear the comments that have emerged over the past 48 hours that the proposals are not clear. They're clear as day, and we're continuing to discuss